this is my favorite place to find amazing deals on home decor. Hey there, welcome back. If we haven't met yet, my name is Tiffany. I'm a Washington realtor who has a love for creating beautiful spaces on a budget. Today, I'm headed off to the Goodwill Outlet or the Goodwill bins. If I come away with any project pieces, I'll show you what I do with those. I'll show you how I might style some of the items, and as always, in the end, I'll share exactly how much I spent. Thank you so much for joining me here. Now, let's go see what we can find today. Welcome to the Goodwill Outlet. If you haven't been here before, these stores are kind of unique in the way they price things, and each of them is structured somewhat differently. This particular location has two separate sides, and over on this side, they bring out items in categorized bins, and you pay for items by the pound. If you've been following along with me, you know that my most recent trips there, I have found an abundance of home decor, but this trip was very different. The housewares were really sparse. Despite that, I did manage to come away with some really fun finds, including one of my favorite finds in quite a while. I strongly considered picking this up. I know I could do something with it, but I just couldn't quite figure out what. If you guys have any ideas of what I could have done with that, I'd love to hear. And now I am over in the section where they have some larger items, and these are priced individually. Recently, the pricing has been a little all over the place. Some items are priced reasonably, and some of them have been, in my opinion, overpriced. My first find of the day was this vase. It had a price tag of $7.99 on it. Of course, I didn't pay that amount. I am using this jute cord that I picked up from the Goodwill Outlet a while back, and I am attaching it to this vase with hot glue and running it around this whole vase. I will say this project did take some time, but it was very cost effective and simple, and I am really happy with the end result. This mirror was my favorite find of the day. I didn't particularly love the finish on that frame there, but it is solid oak. And I've been wanting to share a process with you guys called cerusing, and it works best on solid oak pieces. When I'm refinishing mirrors, I prefer to go ahead and just remove the mirror out of the frame. It's pretty easy to accidentally scratch that glass when you're sanding. If it's not possible to remove it, you can always just tape it off. I decided to try a little experiment. I have used Citristrip many times to remove finish off of wood. I've also used oven cleaner many times to remove wood finish, and I'm not sure which I prefer. So today I decided to use them side by side on this frame and see which one works best. When using either of these methods, I found that it's best to try to keep that product from drying on your piece. So one way that I've found to do that is to wrap it up in plastic. So here I've taken a large construction garbage bag and I've cut it up, and I am wrapping the frame in that. I let it sit for 3 hours and let those products do their job. When I came back to check on them, I was pretty surprised. There was a significant difference between the areas where I had used Citristrip versus the oven cleaner. The Citristrip had effectively removed that wood finish, whereas the oven cleaner had not. It's possible that with more time, maybe more oven cleaner, it would have done the same thing, but when time is a factor, I would definitely opt for the Citristrip. I decided to go ahead and remove all of the products and reapply Citristrip where I had put oven cleaner. The next step in this process is to take wire brushes and brush along with the grain of the wood. What this will do is help to deepen that wood grain. Next, I went over it with a sanding sponge. The next step is to take some watered down paint. I chose to use white chalk paint and paint it onto your piece, making sure to really get that paint down into the wood grain. And before this paint has a chance to dry, unfortunately I didn't have this footage to show you, but you take a rag and you're going to wipe it off in the opposite direction of the wood grain so it works it into that grain. The last step is to apply a top coat. The first time I did this process, I used a standard finishing wax, and as soon as I started to apply it, I could see that it was starting to turn my piece back to that orangey color, and I really didn't want that. So I ended up sanding it off and doing some research, and I came across this product, and it has been wonderful for protecting my pieces without turning them orange. I'll have this along with any other products shown in this video linked down in the description below. Here's a look back at the before, and here's the after. If you are trying to achieve a high-end look on a budget, this is a great way to take those 80s or 90s oak pieces and really modernize them and make them feel high-end. Next, I picked up this rug that I actually found mixed in with the clothes. And this I just put into my washing machine and it washed up great. And here I have it layered with another rug that I had. Next, I picked up this basket here, and I really liked the size and shape and the weave on this basket. But again, I didn't love the color, so I decided to do a whitewash on it. And here I'm once again using that white chalk paint. I'm mixing it with water, and I decided to test it first on the bottom of the basket. Here I'm applying the paint one section at a time, and I'm wiping it off before it has the chance to dry. I also picked up this brass bowl that was originally from Target. Wooden planter boxes like this are so versatile. Here I'm styling it with some half spheres that I picked up several weeks back at the Goodwill Outlet. Next, I picked up this little clock for my office, and I decided to go ahead and paint this frame. Once the paint had fully cured, I took my sanding block and I'm distressing the edges. When I picked up these little plant stands, one of the legs was coming off, so here I'm just taking some wood glue and gluing it back in place. I thought this planter was cute. When I got it home, I realized that there was actually another little planter in there. So I decided since I bought it, I might as well do something with it. Here I decided to once again take that twine and add it to this planter. Next, I snagged this folding tray. I like this, but that top there felt kind of cheap to me. So I decided to use some floor underlayment that we had on hand. This was originally from Home Depot. You can buy large sheets of this. If you're like me, sometimes when you make marks like this, you forget which side you are going to be cutting off. So I like to put a little X on the side that I'm going to be cutting off. That way I don't have to try to remember which side I'm keeping. I then took it out and cut it into these strips here on my table saw, and here I'm cutting them to length. After scuffing up that surface, I again took the wood glue and applied it to these strips of wood. I then placed some heavy items on it and let it dry overnight. Once that glue had fully dried, I took it out to put a coat of primer on it. Here I'm using some caulk to fill the cracks in this. I think this is the difference between things that look more professional or high-end and things that look kind of cheap. So don't skimp on the finishes. This paint had been sitting for a while and it was not wanting to spray. So here I'm taking some mineral spirits and a cleaning toothbrush and I'm going over that nozzle. Unfortunately, it didn't do the trick to fix it. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. What I decided to do is remove that top and swap it out with another nozzle, and that did do the trick. It won't always work, but it's always worth a try. And here I'm once again using my spray handle attachment that I love so much. Again, I'll have this linked down in the description below if you want to go check it out. I also picked up this light pink heart-shaped pillow. This pillow was so soft and it was originally from Restoration Hardware. Pottery Barn, Crate & Barrel, and Anthropologie are all currently selling pine cone candles. It's not something that I would go out of my way to purchase, but that's one thing that I love about shopping at the Goodwill Outlet. You just never know what you're gonna find, and items are so cheap there, I figure I might as well pick them up and enjoy. Speaking of items that I wouldn't typically buy, I have actually had my eye on one of these clip-on strainers for a while, but I didn't want to spend the money on it. So I was excited when I found this. I also picked up this wood lid. I didn't find the matching container for it, but I'm sure I'll find a use for it at some point. So there you have it. That is everything I found this day. Now, before we get to the grand total of what I spent, if you enjoyed this video, would you please do me a big favor and hit that thumbs up button? And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss future videos. Let's get down to those numbers. So you'll see here that I paid $9.99 for that mirror. At our store, they charge for rugs by size. So for that rug, they charged me $2.99. They also charge for pillows individually. So I paid 99 cents for that Restoration Hardware pillow. And that tray was over 3 pounds. So they charged me a flat fee for that of $3.39. The remainder of the items I paid $1.29 a pound for. This brings me to a pre-tax total for this day of $28.97. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope that you are feeling encouraged that you too can create beautiful spaces on a budget. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time.